Hello, everyone. Jay, how are you? Hey, Jay, how are you?
Good, my friend. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
I'm hearing you great.
Awesome. I'm on a Mac Pro and I have speaker capability, or I can just use the audio from the Mac Pro, whatever is better for you right now.
I'm hearing you great right now, so we are golden, at least on my side.
Awesome.
So, how you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. Appreciate you having me on. And how's my lighting? I've been trying to fudge with the lighting a little bit, but you say it's good? It's
Yeah,
good.
it's good. We can see you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect. All right. So, my name's Gary Allen, everyone. I know we're probably going to have some people that are popping on here shortly, but I just wanted to introduce myself. My name's Gary Allen. I'm a realtor in Las Vegas, Nevada. And on the Zoom conference with me is the famous Jay McHugh, you are out of Boston. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And Jay is a broker. He's been a realtor for many years and became a broker here, 15 years ago?
Licensed agent for 27, broker for 15 of the last 27.
Wow. And you have 21 offices up and down the eastern seaboard, up in the Northeast. Is that correct?
Yeah, in New England.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, great. So, guys, what we're going to be talking about today is, I think, a surefire way to grow your business. It's a great way to make more commission dollars, to add value to other people's lives, and kind of just share love and kindness in this world, which is really, this world needs it so badly. So, I've been a realtor for 4 years. I come from the insurance industry. I did that for 25 years. And about a year into being a realtor, I was at this conference with about 10,000 people. And up on the stage was a gentleman by the name of Jordan Adler. And Jordan, I knew who Jordan was, and I knew that he represented a company called SendOutCards, but I had never looked at it until that night. So when I went on the website and I checked it out, I was like, this is such a great fit for myself as a realtor. And come to find out that Jordan had purchased a home from someone in my office. So I asked Chet to get a hold of Jordan, have Jordan call me because I wanted to find out more, and I was probably going to get started. So Jordan called me the next day, and I sent a card to my brother. He helped me to kind of go through the website and send a card to my brother. And I got started a couple of days later. And I started sending out cards to my network, my sphere of influence. And within, 3 to 5 days, I started getting feedback from all these people saying, Gary, thank you so much. That was such a cool card. I use it with social media because people put their lives on Facebook. And so I use those pictures to be able to just give back to my network and share the things that catches my eye. So I started having great success. I started getting deals from sending out cards and gifts to people. I started getting both listings and buying referrals. And, we've all spent money on websites, on pay-per-click ads, on Facebook ads. Every realtor that I've ever spoken to has spent a lot of money for very little return. But this little simple idea of being able to use my phone to send a card or a greeting card and or a gift from my phone or my laptop in a matter of 2 minutes and for very low cost has been the most cost-effective, most impactful program that I've ever used as a realtor. So I'm going to share a couple examples of how I use this and how I help realtors. And then I'm going to talk with Jay and find out what he does to use this simple system to grow his real estate business. And I believe you have one of the highest retention ratios of any broker in the country because you use this system. Is that correct?
That is correct.
It's such a great tool. So here's one of the ways that I use it. My first year as a realtor, I did a lot of rentals because I was just getting my feet wet and just, learning the business. And so one of the couples that I put into a rental, we ended up being Facebook friends. And a couple months later, he posted a picture of his, bear with me here, I lost you there for a second. I'm not quite sure what's going on. There you are. Okay, you're back. Darn computers. So anyway, my Facebook friend, Newly, and his wife, Nicole, posted a picture, and it was a picture of them cutting the cake at their wedding, and he was celebrating his 1-year anniversary. So I took this picture off of Facebook, I put it on a card, and I sent it to him with a 4-pack of brownies and I did this all from my computer. And the company, they created the card, they printed it, they added the brownies, they shipped it. I never touched it. And Newly calls me about a week later, and his exact words were, "Dude, my wife adores you. Thank you so much for sending this card." And the kids love the brownies. And so we chatted for a few minutes. The last thing that he said to me is, "My dad's moving back to Vegas. And even though he's bought 3 homes from the same realtor, I want him to meet you." Well, great. So I met with Myron a couple weeks later, and we ended up closing a $750,000 cash transaction from a simple $15 card and gift. And that's just one of the many, many transactions that I've had from using this simple SendOutCards system. Another one that I have is I have a listing. And so I made a 3-panel card, and I sent this out to 100 neighbors. So I got a list of 100 neighbors from my title rep, and I created one card, and I put the outside of the home on the inside of the card, and then on the edges I put some pictures of the pool and the kitchen, and I sent this out to 100 neighbors. So a week later, someone calls me, and he goes, "I'm moving from Apple Valley, California to Las Vegas. I'm an engineer at the power station, and one of my coworkers handed me this card. I'd like to take a look at this home." Well, fantastic. So I showed him the home. Now, he didn't end up buying this home, but I did put him into a brand new Toll Brothers home. So this $200 campaign, this is a $2 card, including the stamp. I sent it out to 100 people. So this $200 campaign brought me in a $19,000 commission. So there's just so many examples of how I use this. And I have realtors across the country that I've shown this to that are using this. Now, Kayla, my partner in crime, is not on the conference call today. She's out of Fort Collins. She started using SendOutCards about 3 months ago and has ended up, I think she's right now at $1.5 million in listings, and she has a couple $1 million that she's still working on. So my friend Brian Perez in South Carolina has been a realtor for a year, did 15 transactions in the last 15 months using only SendOutCards. So it's just a phenomenal tool. It's easy, it's fast, it's very powerful, it's low cost, and I can't stress enough how much I love this system. And I know, Jay, that you feel the same way. So talk to me a little bit about yourself and about how you use SendOutCards to do what you do.
Thanks very much. I greatly appreciate it, Gary. I have to stop and say congratulations to you, because most people don't get it this quickly. And for the people who are listening or who might watch this, re-record MP3 file, here's the point, is that Gary gets it, he's implementing it, and he's getting sound results quickly. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
It does take a while for some people to get outside their comfort zone and to recognize just the facts, just the numbers that you said. Once that happens, they become a better believer. And so to give you my story, similar to you, a lot of naysayers when I first started 9 years ago, but I had a great story where I got an email from my local golf club membership that stated that a prominent member was taking residence with their daughter. Nothing more, nothing less. And I immediately said, this is what Cody talks about, a prompting. And I went onto the computer called SOC and went on and sent a card saying, "Mr. Mel, I hear that you're taking residence with your daughter. Just want to stop and wish you a happy new year. You've always been a great friend and mentor. Happy New Year 2012. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Oh, and I included a box of brownies. Well, the story goes, a week later to the date, I get this email, somewhat of a nasty email because we all think the negative. Jay, are you the Jay McHugh that sent my dad a box of brownies and card? If so or not, please let us know. And I got a little nervous and I said, Stacy, my wife, what did I do wrong? She said, you're overreacting. Just email her back. So I did. I emailed her back and I said, yes, I'm Jay McHugh. Your dad's a member at Norfolk Golf Club with me. And I was updated that he moved in with you. Please let him know. I was wishing him a happy new year. He's been a great friend and mentor, Jay. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. A nanosecond later, I get an email back. Jay, thanks very much. I'm not sure if you know, but my dad has Alzheimer's. He won't be coming back to Dedham, and we were hoping you could help sell his home for us. You know, that's when the light goes off. Yeah. Just like you said, Gary, $15 investment to a gentleman who I bartended for. I have my client appreciation parties at his wonderful banquet facility. He's moved up on age. He had sold the business. I got an email. I acted on it. Now, here's the real cool thing about it. There's close to 15 other active real estate agents that live closer, have been a member longer, and are closer in age to this gentleman. But I got the appointment. I got it closed. And from then on, I was not only a believer, I'm a huge advocate that that $15 investment returned close to $11,000. Most people will never spend $11,000 in SendOutCards. Meanwhile, to me, it's a no-brainer. Get rid of the Zillows, get rid of the Trillias, get rid of the bus advertising and the other forms that make you feel good, but you don't get any money from it. Start appreciating more and more, and the abundance will flow back to you. And it is amazing. You get it. Brian gets it. Jim gets it. Gail gets it. Dan gets it. Kristen gets it. Stacy gets it. It's wonderful to see this movement of people who get it because, as I talk frequently, I say, guys, we have this bigger thing that is bigger than everybody. It's called the internet. And they're chipping away at our net profits little by little. The only way we can combat that is to do something that we know something about our clients before they do. And that's to appreciate more and more often, to reach back more and more often and find that business come to you and not go to these third-party interlopers. And, that's a success story. That's one success story. But since I have that, since I own that, I'm a believer in it. I just love to try to teach the million realtors out there who are shaking their heads saying, I just don't get it, Jay. I'm not you. I said, you'll never be me if you keep thinking in the scarcity mode. And that's why I appreciate you reaching out to me. I'm happy to share with your massive growing group. Congratulations on all your success. I watch you, and together we're just going to help others raise that bar. Instead of being amateurs, we're all going to turn into professionals over the next 6 months.
Well, real estate's, I've been a realtor for 4 years, as I've mentioned, and I very quickly realized that the business of real estate, once you find the client, the business of real estate is really not that difficult. I mean, you have to deal with some issues and some personalities sometimes, but there's a set process to go through to get someone to buy a home, from, ordering the inspection and getting the HOA documents and doing the appraisal and things like that. But it's very organized. The hardest part of being a realtor is finding the client. And realtors spend a lot of money, and they get a lot of, dry holes in the sense of, they put a lot of effort in and they get no return. But I myself, and I know you feel the same way, have never found something that's so easy to use and so powerful and so cost effective. I mean, being able to get a return of 100 times what you put in to your marketing efforts, I mean, it's just phenomenal. So I'm just a big fan, and I know that you are. So how do you use this to follow up? Because I know you have a brokerage, and let's talk a little bit about that. How do you use SendOutCards to follow up with your prospects for your real estate when you're trying to bring an agent into your company?
Oh, sure. So we have much to talk about tonight, and often we just have to keep it simple. When we keep it simple, it works very, very well.
It's 7:15.
Sorry about that. I don't know how to shut that. But just think of the ability for the broker owners on this call. You recognize that everybody might be chasing that particular agent to come work for them in their particular brokerage. What is going to make you differentiate yourself, regardless of what your commission split might be, regardless of what you promised them for a big office, small office, work at home, regardless of all that other good stuff? What is going to make them feel that they are truly working with someone that they can do well with? Because you can get a better split, you can get a bigger office, but if you don't like going to work, if you don't like working in that brokerage, you're going to suffer. And therefore, when you have a recruiting appointment, when you say yes or no to join the company, there's nothing that's going to be wrong by just reaching back and saying, thanks very much. Whatever decision you make, we support your decision. We want to raise that bar throughout the real estate organization. It's been a pleasure to meet with you. That is what I call moves the needle in your favor. And I can't tell you how many broker owners meet with the same 4 or 5 different agents during this particular time to recruit 4 or 5 particular agents, and they're looking for what makes that person special, regardless of the franchise, regardless of, again, the split. What makes them feel more confident that they can work with you and grow their business? Well, showing them SendOutCards or proving it. I can tell you all day long, but unless I prove it to you by actually doing it, what good is it? We learned this way back before you, I think, joined SendOutCards. Kathy Allen came up to me and she said something very poignant. Imagination without implementation is hallucination. I added the word, it's truly hallucination. It's like smoking dope. Because I can give you all the information, but unless you execute it, unless you put it into action, what good is it? Therefore, build a system, folks. Build a broker owner system, recruiting system, etc., where that good, better, and different, whether they join or don't join, you're using this awesome system to keep them top of mind that if things didn't work out, they're going to call you back. And if they did work out, you're going to teach them the system of follow-up and appreciation. It's a win-win. What's fascinating is that I share this with my competitors, and they still don't get it.
Yeah,
They
right.
still don't get it locally. But that's okay, because some will, some won't. So what? Move on.
Yeah.
And, that's one of the fascinating things about our business is that, sure, all the other technology, all the market share, all the other things that you might be doing for it, when it comes down to it, you're going to love this one. The difference between contacts and contracts is one thing. And that one thing is the letter R.
Yeah.
That R stands for relationships.
Yeah.
If we can work on our relationships, we'll have a better success ratio, a better closing ratio, a better broker agent who joins our company. And therefore, they're off to the races without worrying about this, that, and slowing you down as a broker owner.
Broker owners are going to see this, and people in companies like KW and EXP that are, building an organization are going to see this. And what makes the difference, like you say, it's not so much the sign or the logo. It's not so much the split. It's how do you make someone feel? Because this is a business about people. It's a business about relationships. And it just makes sense that if you have a tool that you can use very quickly and just pull up on your phone and be able to create a card right from your phone and send it in a matter of a minute to someone, it just makes all the difference in the world, because you're making a connection and you kind of go from out here in the ether to top of mind to top of heart. And that's where not only the referral machine comes from, but that is where the connection comes from, that, hey, I want to work with this guy, because he makes me feel nice. And I think it's just a phenomenal tool. Now, you use SendOutCards. We were talking right at the beginning that you have one of the highest retention ratios in the country because you use SendOutCards. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, certainly there's so much to talk about, but I'll give you one key that anybody can rip off and duplicate, because it's so important to help our industry. And again, it goes back to, if we can help our industry, no matter what company they work for, we're beating the Googles or the Zillows or the entry onlys, et cetera. Now, the reality is that when someone joins a company, hey, they're the person who joins, but who else is joining? People forget it's their spouse, it's their children, et cetera. So what we've come up with is a very simple process, is that when they come on board, we find out their information, what they like, they dislike, their birthday, their anniversary. If they choose to volunteer their children's birthday, we put it all into this system. I forget what it's called. It's SRC. No, that's my hair tonic. It's SOC. We put that into this system called SendOutCards. And that system then populates a monthly reminder of whose birthday is that particular birthday. Not only do we send cards and brownies on the birthday to the agent, but to the agent's spouse. Not only to the agent's spouse, but to their children. And what really happens is that when they're having a bad hair day and they're pulling their hair out and they want to change courses, the wife will say, the spouse will say, the husband will say, are you kidding me? Do you know what your broker owners did this last month? They sent me a box of brownies. You need to work hard and make some more calls. Now, when the spouse is unhappy and the agent's unhappy, you know what the kids say? Dad, are you kidding me? Your broker owner sent me a box of brownies. You just need to work harder. Now you understand where that retention rate can come in, is that you sometimes see in the broker owner community, they have a nice Christmas, Hanukkah, holiday party, whatever you call it. Then they have a nice summer, Cape Cod, down Martha's Vineyard party. In between those 5 months, guess what happens? People start to have doubts. Doubts take you out of action. Action takes you out of doubt. When we're sending cards throughout the year, when we're sending brownies throughout the year, it's great when we have a problem, meaning someone calls up and says, I get my brownies. Great. That tells me that we made a mistake. We might have the wrong information. Here come your brownies, because they're thirsty for those brownies. They're thirsty to be appreciated, and it keeps us top of mind, keeps us sharp ourselves. And then when we have someone who onboards, they get a nice, lovely gift from SendOutCards, and they feel comfortable, and they go and tell all their other agents in their company. And the watering hole just becomes so prolificating that it just keeps coming and coming and coming, because we have systematized this piece of the business. Now, what I like to tell the agents is like, guys, did you like what you saw? Yeah. Did you like the onboarding process? Yeah. Could you see you doing that with your own buyers and sellers? Moment goes on. Well, let's do that. When you meet with the buyer or a seller, why don't you take that particular information, put it in this system called SendOutCards. Send them out a box of brownies on the first initial meeting. Send them out a box of brownies when you have your first offer. Send them out a box of brownies after a good home inspection. Send them out another gift upon the mortgage commitment. I teach this throughout the country, and I say, guys, we are cheap by waiting till the closing to give them a $500 gift card from Home Depot, Lowe's, billion-dollar companies that are not going to remember the lawnmower or the snowblower. Take that $500 investment and start sprinkling it through the process, and watch your referral rates, introduction rates go through the roof. And when agents can understand that, and then they can implement that, they're getting referrals during the process, whether it takes 2 weeks or 2 months or 6 months to sell a home or to find that client a home, because they're engaged knowing that you've spent some money, you've appreciated them more than they ever expected, and they're now willing to share that experience with their friends and family. It's a no-brainer. However, 27 years in the business, I know what was before us. I know the dinosaur trainers and coaches and everything else. I know it was a seller sub-agency life, and now we have buyer agency and listing agency, etc. Therefore, it takes a shift of the mind to get out of that acrimony or that typical boringness and say, well, Jay, what happens if they don't buy? Well, what happens? It's called an investment. Maybe you ensure that they still buy. I had an example this past year where I had a great referral from one of my mortgage partners. And guess what happened? The woman loved the brownie. She loved all the gifts. And after the home inspection, she wanted to go forward. And the seller was a little tough. They finally agreed. And then the buyer wanted to back out. And she did back out. But she called me and she said, Jay, I'm afraid of losing you. What do you mean? I want to make sure you still want to work with me, but I'm afraid you might not want to work with me. What was interesting is she was buying something $420,000. We found something 4 months later, and she paid close to $800,000.
Wow.
I doubled my income because she didn't quit on me. She knew I was full of integrity, and I was willing to continue to work. My investment was roughly $100 before that first home inspection. My return was over $16,000, $17,000. And I look at it and I say, I built a friend, but I proved a system to my 400 other agents that are not nuts like you and I that understand this right now.
Right.
But I look at it and I say, God, it's pretty cool that someone calls and begs to stay working with you, even though they backed out of a $420,000 home and they end up buying something close to $800,000. That's a good problem to have.
That is a great problem to have.
Yeah.
So you use SendOutCards whenever you need to extend a listing and you avoid commission issues or appendectomies, as you like to say. How do you do that? Because I'm interested in hearing that, because we all take listings that don't sell, and when that listing is over, you're back in a competitive situation. So do you do the same thing? You're constantly staying in touch by sending them cards and gifts. Is that what you use to be able to not have to worry so much about renewing your listing contracts?
Well, you made a great statement earlier, Gary, and I wanted to interrupt you, but I know I can talk too fast and too often. But now I can say, here's the point of that great statement earlier. When we get a listing, or at times when we go into a seasonal challenge from New England, it's Thanksgiving to probably, when the Patriots win or lose a Super Bowl, because people they're geared to the TV, right? They're not making a move. Now, as an example, I grabbed a listing, an expired listing, and I continued to reap the benefits of sending cards, good, bad, or indifferent, holiday cards, good, bad, or indifferent, and just checking in cards, good, bad, or indifferent, right? Not only did I get a price reduction, I got a contract extension. It went under agreement just 2 weeks after we got the contract extended, right? Now, what I explain to folks is that if you took that listing in November 1st and you didn't do anything because you kept saying it's cold, it's the weather, it's the Patriots, come January 30th, the person's going to say, hey, Jay, thanks very much, but I'm going to change tracks. And they change tracks, it goes to your competitor, and then 2 weeks later you see it go under agreement for a similar price that you could have had because you didn't understand the seasonality. Now we do, the seller might not, but because you're sharing and showering updates, etc., they give you that extension. In addition, following up with the commission acadectomy, I call it, it's very difficult for a buyer or seller, after you've shown them your appreciation and your investment in them before you got paid, for them to ever ask you for a commission acadectomy. One commission acadectomy could be $1,500, $2,000, because you're not understanding how to bring that value. Commission acadectomies are only asked in the absence of value, so create more value. If you're doing what we're talking about, you have less and less, if at all, any of them. And the cost of having, it's kind of like a gym membership. If you go to the gym, you don't go to the doctor. You don't go to the gym, you go to the doctor more often. Which one is more cost prohibitive? And in business, we understand that we need to spend money to make money, right? Okay, take it to a higher level. In our real estate business, and our building of relationship business, title, home inspection, mortgage, etc., we understand that people count, numbers don't. Focus on people, you'll have an infinite amount of business. Focus on numbers, you'll create what I call cement shoes and fall into proverbial bankruptcy. The people on this call who might think I'm cuckoo, great. We love you. We thank you. You're our competition. We eat you for breakfast. Never mind lunch and dinner. We eat you once we wake up in the morning. But if you think about it, you really strongly think about it, and you recognize by sending cards and gifts, you stop commission acadectomies, you increase your listing contract if necessary. And guess what else happens? The buyer and seller, they trust you, they like you. And if you say, this is a great deal, Gary, okay, I agree with you. And if I don't like you and I don't trust you, you say it's a great deal, I'm going to question you, I'm going to doubt you, I'm going to hold off a little bit, I might miss it, and I might end up missing it and missing it again. You work 3 times as hard, and I, as the seller, missed out on a better price that I could have had. So we all have to take ownership and understand the psychology of selling, Brian Tracy, and understanding today that all this information on the internet, you are deciphering the information, disseminating the information so your client can understand it better. It's not to mislead them. It's not to manipulate them, because you're strong. You should be strong. If you're working at Lear, you're working at your company, you should be strong. But what we're doing is raising that bar so that they are so comfortable that when you pick up the phone and you say, this is a good deal or this is a bad deal. I have plenty of times when someone says, Jay, what do you think? I say, I don't think we should take it. Okay, great. We won't take it because I'm strong in my opinion. Other times I say, what do you like about this? And I don't like it, Jay. Okay, no problem. Do you like being under agreement before the Super Bowl and enjoying yourself so you can go out and buy a home in Florida? Or would you rather me have an open house on Super Bowl Sunday, but you can't buy that house in Florida? Oh, Jay, you're right. Just take it. Because Lynn trusted me. I was providing the information she was looking for. And we made a sound decision, and we are under agreement, and she's looking at homes in Florida. And she was a referral from an expired listing 57 miles away.
Wow.
And to me, that is amazing that I can sell homes 57 miles away.
It's 7:30.
Because I have a great network of referred raving fans that say, you should have called Jay. When it expires, call Jay. And that's from 9 years of sending cards and gifts to me in a better way than trying to turn a suspect to a prospect to a customer to a client. I'm just working with raving fans at this point. And if I do find a customer, sure, I'll work with them if I have time. But I just focus my efforts on my raving fans, and the proliferation of business comes in, and now it's coming in on the recruiting side, the brokerage side, and it's a win-win. And then I can teach you, or if we have time, talk about how our agents can use this to better their third-party preferred vendors. If they don't understand what you see, I can't see sending you those referrals. Wow.
Wow.
And people say,
Yeah, please. We have plenty of time. Let's talk a little bit about that. What do you talk about into regards to third-party vendors?
So one thing I think is very helpful for the people who are on board. If I send one card to my client, it's good, it's great, it's wonderful. Can you imagine if you had 5 preferred vendors saying, hey, Jack and Jill, I'm so glad that Jay put me in touch. I look forward to getting you to the finish line with no problems. By the way, you're working with a fabulous realtor. That's 2 cards that the client received. Hi, I'm so glad that Jay put his trust in me to inspect your home. If you have any questions, never hesitate to call. I'm here for you. By the way, Jay's great to work with. That's 3 cards. Hi, thanks very much. I look forward to working with you. I'm the title attorney here in Massachusetts. We'll be closing in a couple of weeks. By the way, please send me the information that I emailed you. In addition, you're working with an unbelievable real estate team. Dan and Jay are fantastic. Stacy, I love working with Leah Real Estate. 4 cards. I only sent 1. My preferred vendors have sent 3. The mindset of the receiver says, Jay, you sent me 4. No, I sent you 5, 6, and 7 because we had a septic problem. We had a painter. You see what I'm saying? See where I'm going with this? And it's a missing link in most of our SendOutCard customers and distributors that they think they have to do it all by themselves. No, they don't. In addition, as I just mentioned on a little bit of a clue, when I meet with my preferred vendors, I say, here's the deal. I really don't care what your rate is. I trust it's good. I don't really care what your service is because I expect it will be good. What I care about is that you send a SendOut card on my behalf, thanking for the opportunity to work with them, naming me and my team. If you can do that, I can work with you. If you can't, there you go. There's the door.
Wow.
And people say it's nuts. And I say, 27 years, really? 27 years. When you study as much as I have, self-development, Grant Cardone, Darren Hardy, Brian Tracy, Brendan Bouchard, Gary Vaynerchuk, Stacy Alcorn, you have a different way of controlling your business now because you have so much abundance coming in. Never mind Cody Bateman, Ben Fitz, Autumn Anderson, Diane Walker, and Jordan. We have all of this information. Like you're reaching out to me to gain this information. Let's just use it, folks. At the end of the day, we don't need third-party bank rate, Zillow rate, LegalZoom.com to take away from what we have built after 27 years. We only allow it to happen because we're living in scarcity mode. We're living in doubt mode. And I have no doubt if you study and work and use my system, we will be abundant in our business. And I still have people push back, whatever excuses that they have. And I said, great, you're just not working with me then. Now, here's something that I think you'll love. And I say this to all my friends and all my students. I say, guys, here's a good example. Because you break it down to the real bare minimum. And you say, if someone was to refer me a piece of business, we'll call a loan officer, we'll call Suzanne. And Suzanne said, hey, Jay, I got a great referral for you, but I frankly want you to do 10 push-ups in the driveway when you get to the house. Can you do that for me? And I said, sure, no problem. And I get to the house early because that's what I do. And I get in the driveway and I do 10 jumping jacks. I walk in and meet her brother, super nice guy. Come out, everything's great. No, I got the listing. I call up Suzanne. I say, Suzanne, your brother's cool, great guy. Yeah, I know. He just called me. I said, is there a problem? No. Yeah. What's the problem? Jay, I asked you to do 10 push-ups. And you were in the driveway doing jumping jacks. Yeah, I don't do push-ups anymore. I'm 50 years of age. I can't do them, but I do jumping jacks. Yeah, but I asked you to do push-ups. See, my brother's a 5-degree martial arts black belt. He hates jumping jacks. And because he saw you in the driveway doing jumping jacks, and I had asked you to do push-ups, he doesn't want to work with you, and neither do I. Now, when people hear that, they say, wow, does that really happen? I say, come on, guys, let's think about it. It's an analogy. But the point is, if I asked you to send a freaking card of thanks and you can't do that, I don't care how good your rate is. I don't care how good your service is. I don't care what coupon you might give them for future. You're not thinking about me, and I'm the rainmaker. Yet, if you ask me to do something and I do it, we're great. But if I don't and I yield away from it, why would you trust me? And that's an unbelievable example that if we can appreciate more and more often, and of course I get the pushback, Gary, well, I do that. My company does that. What do you mean? Yeah, my company does that. Right. Listen to what you said. Your company does that. I didn't ask you or your company to do that. I asked you to do that. And I don't care about your company because I'm not referring your company. I'm referring you. And the whole point of this for the people who will listen to this again is that we need to take ownership of our business. We have this unbelievable tool that can do that. People will refer people. They don't necessarily refer companies first and then people. They refer people first. People count, numbers don't. Focus on people. You'll have an infinite amount of business. Focus on numbers. You'll find yourself in cement shoes and fall into proverbial bankruptcy. And I can't deal with that at 50 years of age, 27 years in the business, growing a huge real estate empire, because we now have the tools from all my mentors, all my coaches previous, and now we just got to do it.
That's phenomenal. I've never, honestly, I've learned something today. I've never really thought about my third-party vendors and having them love on my clients and lift me up. And that's just reinforcing that they made a good decision. And that's just absolutely brilliant. I love that, Jay.
Great. I want you to use it. I want to hear those success stories.
Yeah, I definitely am going to use that. I work with because I'm a distributor just like you are, SendOutCards. So I do my real estate business, but I also share SendOutCards because I'm just a big fan of residual income. And I met with a title rep last week and I showed her the SendOutCards system and she absolutely loved it. And she's with another company that I normally use Fidelity Title. We're a title company out here in the West. And so I use Fidelity and she works with First American. But I told her, once I realized that she liked SendOutCards, I said, listen, my Fidelity Title company does not use SendOutCards. And I like doing business with people that do business with me. So, just a little benefit here is that, you love SendOutCards. And so when you get started, I'm going to take all my business from Fidelity and I'm going to bring it over to you. And again, that's just reinforcing that, she's going to be we're going to be partners now working together. And I just think that's phenomenal. My mortgage broker already uses SendOutCards. And so I'm going to do that with my inspector and with my title company. I just think that's absolutely wonderful.
I'm grateful that tip goes deep into you because it's only going to benefit you, more business to you, the more ability you can refer to them.
I love that. So let's talk a little bit about branding. With SendOutCards, we have the ability to brand ourselves on the back of the card. And, it's 100% adjustable. You can have multiple brands. And, I have one for my family. I have one for my business. I have one for my SendOutCards business. When I was in BNI, I was kind of the greeter host. And so any new person that came in, I sent them a card. So let's talk a little bit about how you use the branding system and why it's so important and why you have so many of them at your disposal.
Great question. I love the question so far. What you just said is so important. People don't understand that a few years ago when we tried to get Cody to understand the importance of branding, there was a little holdback, pushback, technology, money. I don't know. It has opened up a plethora of opportunity that you can create the card without spoiling it with your solicitation by default, etc. And on the back of the card, it can be your information. It can be your solicitation. It can be blank. I'll give you a quick example. One of my good students said, Jay, I love the back of the card branding. It's unbelievable. I said, great. I'm glad you're crushing it. He says, did you hear about Jack? I said, oh, yeah, he passed away. He said, yeah, I sent the family a card. I said, oh, you did change the back of the card, didn't you? Oh, shit. I didn't, Jay. And he put out his marketing piece as a real estate top agent. The point is, you're absolutely right. I have at least 15 back of the card branding things because I have the family, I have Lair, I have my preferred charitable thing. Now, I'm going to give you a tip. You're going to love this one, folks. Everybody asks me about this one on our SendOutCard private groups and so forth. But this is one of my favorite. It's a 3-panel card. Oh my God, another 39 cents, 31 for some of us, right? 3-panel card is going to break you. Tells a story. Jim McCord loved this one, right? 3-panel card. You see that? Is that going to move the needle, folks? I bet it does, right? Then, of course, your description in here. Now watch this. We use Imprep. We have a nice little contract deal with Imprep. I take my JPEG and I upload it to SendOutCards, and there's the whole JPEG on the back of the card. This card took 2 minutes to create. This card has more information than your MLS, PIN, listing sheet. You put this in front of a seller, you get that $2 million listing. Because now I send this card out inviting the top 25 brokers to come to the broker's lunch. We put that thing under agreement. I'll do it again. Aerial photo. Aerial photo. $1.6 million home. Expand, high resolution, picture. Invite to contact, ask more information. Couple the bullet points on the house. Then the full listing sheet with this big fat Irish guy from Boston in the middle of it. NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. I can use this card over and over and over. I can use this in a listing appointment, which is about 96% close rate right now. I can use this in a recruiting appointment. Join us. Jay will walk you how you can do this to gain more listings. It's a freaking joke right now. It's a joke.
That's amazing. That is phenomenal. I'm learning so much, Jay. I should have done this a long time ago. So that is just phenomenal.
One more, right? While we're on it. Big cards. People are not using big cards, right? Oh, you got a $15 million listing? Well, now you will. Take an aerial photo. Big listing. Keep it. Send it to yourself. Go on listing appointments with it. High-end New England listing, $15 million. Again, high-end, all information on the back of the card. You walk into a listing appointment, I don't care if it's 200,000, 800,000, or 2 million. They're going to look and say, the previous broker didn't show us that. Where do we sign, Jay?
Wow.
$8 investment. $8 investment. I keep it fresh. There's no chocolate sauce. There's no ocean pizza on it. I keep that one fresh. There's others that got some stuff on it. That one's a big one.
Wow. That is just mind-blowing. I'm going to definitely want to take a closer look at those cards because I can absolutely see that I can open up new markets. Because, I'm a 4-year, been a realtor for 4 years. I don't think I've ever sold or listed a home over 500,000. And, it's just as easy for the most part to work on a multi-million-dollar listing as it is for a $300,000 listing. And that just, I see that just opening up markets for me. And that is really, really exciting.
Good.
Do you have some other examples of cards that have, that you've sent out that have brought you some successes in the buying or the listing side?
So what I want to share that I think is a missing link for most people is that there's 15,000 cards, as you know, or more currently on the system. You got to teach our people to put them in the favorite section so they don't take 15 minutes to send one card or half hour to send 2 cards and they call us up and say it's not working for us, Gary, because it's just too long. So what I have my ability to save my favorite cards. I save a belated card. I save a bereavement card just to meet your $1 million card. And then I have some fun cards. So I have a martial artist in my group. And 2 years in a row, I sent him this card, right? This is called having fun. Now, why would I send a guy, black belt, a card like this? Here's the why. Here's why you move the needle, folks. Cards make the phone ring. So inside the card, I'll read it to you. Now that I put a smile on your face, have a great BD and a year ahead. Love you, Jay. And I send him, of course, the brownies or the cookies. And he calls me up and he says, Jay, you got me. I was ready to call Cody and tell him that they sent me out a wrong card, but you got me. And you got me as a SendOutCard distributor now. John Matukas out in California.
My goodness.
Now, the whole point of it is that people are so sterile at times, Gary. They just don't understand that the cards have so much more power because if I took a half hour to go to Hallmark or CVS or Nomad or Walfart. I just would get out of there and I wouldn't get a great card. We have to start helping people send great cards. Great cards move the needle. And when you do that,
7:45.
and you use NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, you start to see a better result on your card sending. I love this analogy. So Gary and I are friends. He's from Las Vegas. I'm from Boston. He's got 12 months out of the year to play golf. However, he's a beginner golfer. I love golf. I'm a 10 handicap. I only can play for 6 months out of the year. So we have a gentleman's bet before we go to convention. And we say, who's a better golfer? Practicing 1 hour a day for 60 days. Now, again, I'm a 10 and Gary's a beginner. And the audience says, well, you are, Jay. You started as a 10. You must be better. I say, not necessarily. See, I'm a 10 and I practice with other 10 handicappers. I've become better at being a 10 handicapper. Meanwhile, you're a smart guy. You go out and hire Jordan Spieth. And you go from a nothing golfer to nearly a scratch golfer, practicing the correct behaviors to become a better golfer. In our business at SendOutCards and in the real estate business, I see too many people practicing average card behavior. And therefore, they're not getting the extraordinary results that we are, that I am, that my team is, that my wife is. And what I ask people to do is to stop and think about what you're sending out. They're sending out cards that are not, Cody wants you to send out great cards instead of cards filled with whiteness. If you're sending out cards filled with whiteness and it's not moving the needle, people aren't going to call you up and say, Jay, that was a shitty card. Don't send me one again. They just don't refer me any business.
Right.
And that's what's so important for us to help our card senders who are on this call or who might be learning that if you're sending out an average call, why would you expect anything but an average result, which is thank you, and that's it. You send out a card that costs the same, maybe a little bit more time to create at the beginning. You get an extraordinary result, and then you habitualize it. You duplicate that, and you systematize it. So in my head, when I meet with someone, here's some crazy stuff that I do. I get up in the morning early, 4:30. I look at my Facebook. I have between 5 and 15 Facebook wishes, birthday wishes. What I do is I look at them and I say, if they are someone that I should be sending a card to, I go in and send them this thing from STC. No, that's my hair tonic. SOC. I send them a send out card, belated card, and a box of brownies. Then I put them in the system. I get reminded 360 days away, and I send them a card on time next year. Now follow this. They have received 2 cards within 365 days. They look at their spouse, husband, wife, or broker and says, you know something? It's time for me to move to the other side and talk to Jay. Or Jay's awesome. Or Jay's wonderful. Or I need to work at Layer Real Estate. And that's the power that we have by using the tools that are afforded to us. And when you send out a belated card and then the follow-up card is on time next year, they're going to remember that because nobody else is getting cards but you and I and our great collection of group of people. And someone on the call might say, well, that's because nobody wants them anymore. Really? I'm 50. I got 20 birthdays left. Guess what? I want 20 birthdays filled with cards and brownies.
Yeah.
And if you're a buyer or a seller and you're having a bad day and you get a card in the mail, I mean, you've probably watched my post where people are just silly saying unexpected things. And I'm not shy with money, man. I love throwing money out there because I know if I send out an unexpected 300-point basket of brownies, not only are they going to tell everybody on Facebook, I'm going to do business with them again. Yeah. Or they're going to give me a referral this year. And that's the whole point where I see, again, it's our job to coach and help them. And this is an example. Watch this video again. Ask more questions. Come to convention. Go to a prompting academy. Call Gail. Call Jim. Call Jay. Call Brian. Call Stacy Alcorn. Recognize that it's not just sending the card. It's what we're saying on the card and what we do to follow up. Now, I'll give you another great cool. I love this one. I love this tip for brokers, agents. Send out your cards on Sunday or Saturday. They get mailed Monday or Tuesday. They get received Thursday, Friday. But you pick up the phone on Friday afternoon when we are told cold calling is dead. Well, now it's not cold calling. It's a warm call. Before I get my second sentence in, they say, Jay, shut up. Those brownies are unbelievable. No, okay, just want to let you know I have a new listing down in Middleborough. And hey, great. I got a friend who has to be buying a house. I'm glad you called, Jay. I turned a cold call into a warm call because I systematized my card sending to my top 200 people that would come to my wake, my funeral, or my wedding. We're not doing that. We're fishing for new people because it's easier. Yeah. Reach back to the people who are thirsty for you. When that happens, you'll start to see the magic. And then you get to the next level. I mean, the next level, I've got so many good things around here, but I love sharing this one. The key to my success, Gary, are great clients like you. Send the freaking key to success, which I don't have because I gave out 3 of them today. And hence, they look at that key and they say, unbelievable. That's an awesome gift. You know, my wife, Stacy, writes and reads 2 books a week. Send her some bookmarks, folks. They're cheap, inexpensive, but they're NLP. When she's putting this bookmark in the next book, she's saying, Gary sent me another book from Las Vegas. Great guy. And I have a referral. I'm going to Vegas to speak. I have somebody who would be interested in his business. All this stuff is so easy to do. We're just not doing it.
Yeah.
You're gonna love this one. So this is my good friend Ray Bork. He only had 100 of these made, right? I got 2 of them. This is a golf market, right? I love this stuff, right? NLP again. Then I go online and I find another thing that's pretty cool. It's called, what's it called? To It. And in it says, and it has the whole stuff on the back. I'll send you one.
Please.
And you promised me when you got around to it, you would sign up for SendOutCards. Well, here you go, Gary. Here you go. I just gave you around to it. And it's time for you to sign up for SendOutCards. You told me, Gary, you'd get around to it and join my company when the time is right. Well, here you go. Here's a round to it. Now, someone says, we don't have this at SendOutCards, right? Guess what? Take a freaking picture, put it in the card, and say, when I gave you a round to it, you would join my company.
Oh, I love that.
And look what I'm doing. I'm making you smile. And that's the point of what SendOutCards can bring to the table that Hallmark can't, that others we won't name can't. I won't even get into my competitors that keep talking about how to be average. Continue to be average, you'll be average, you know. Unless you recognize what you're doing and why you're not getting great results is because you're practicing to be average. And I go back to real estate agents. Guys, we'll just say it. My third cousin twice removed, Brian Buffini, super nice guy. SendOutCards was not around when he built his empire. Now he has a Learjet, I have a Lexus. So he's winning that right now. That's okay. But at the end of the day, I do not save his personal handwritten note cards. But I save a picture of my nephew that was sent Valentine's Day last year. The shelf life is unbelievable. I save one of my students who sent me this card 3 years ago while he came to convention in Las Vegas. And quickly, thanks so much for helping me make 2013 my most successful year in business. Yet, with a family of 7 to feed, finding the right business partnership is essential. And you are someone who has helped me immensely. I look forward to working with you in 2014 and even more successful Rainmaker events, Best Dennis, right? How come I didn't throw that card out, folks? Because it's a great card. If he had sent me a personal note card, boom, gone, lost.
Yeah. Well, that's something that you can definitely help teach people that use SendOutCards. There's people that use SendOutCards, and then there's people that use SendOutCards. And I've learned so much from you today about, you know, being a level 4 card sender, because I always thought I was a level 4, but I've learned so much today from you on how to take that extra step, make that card extra special, use it with your third-party vendors so that it's building you up and building them up. And most importantly, it's building the client up. It's loving on the client. And that's where the referrals come from. And you talk about being average. You know, we all learn to get on the phone and dial for dollars. You're just like every other agent that does that. But, you know, when you do something different, you separate yourself from all the other agents. And it makes the business, while not carefree, it takes a lot of the struggle out because people are calling you rather than you calling people. It's phenomenal.
100% agree with you, and it is a mind shift. I had some notes here. It takes that mind shift to make one understand that. It's still good to door knock. It's still good to call expired. It's still good to keep that ferociousness in there, etc. But it's so great when you're getting 2 to 3 referrals a week that are coming in for people, like you said, who want to do business with you. Because if the others don't come to fruition, you not only have a great paycheck, you got a thriving paycheck that you can leverage off of. And you can show up at showings in golf shoes. You can show up in showings, you know, after you've been to a golf outing and someone just needs to open up the door. You don't have to put a shirt and tie on. You don't have to be the person that you don't want to be. You want to make real estate your friend. SendOutCards allows us to do that. And just to touch on it, Most of the people that we talk to, they say, I don't have time. I don't have time. Well, put it this way. If you're not using SendOutCards, your competition thanks you for not using SendOutCards.
Yeah.
And people put a light on it and say, wow. And I say, I don't want you to stop your day from 2 or 10 to 2 to stop and do a SendOutCard. But when the kids go to bed or you're watching the Bruins lose to the Montreal Canadiens 4-3, it's a lot of time from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock to whip out. My own goal is 10 cards a day. I know that might be more for most, but that's mine. That's what I built it up to. If you can't send out 1 card a day, SendOutCards is not going to work for you. If you can't recognize that a $39 account is not going to bring you success, but $100, $200, $1,000 a month will. If I spent $12,000 in a year and I returned $96,000 in additional income that I would not have received, is there a problem?
Yeah, that's people would be smart to spend that every day, getting a 8-to-1 return on your dollar. Warren Buffett would even love that.
And Warren has done it, and he's implemented. And the people who are chasing nickels will find that the nickel turned into 4 pennies, and by the time they caught it, it's 3 pennies. We're chasing $100 bills, and that's the difference. The difference is our mind shift has changed, and we recognize that if we do it in a sales process, in a systematic process, it doesn't mean just send a card. It means send a card, or like I'll give you an example. I have a couple great agents right now that have blown their doors off for January. And today I said, watch your mail today. Now, I know I'm a coach. Some might not like it because I'm not being truthful. The big box is getting there tomorrow. They might be on this call right now. I just ruined it. But the whole point is the mindset that they're waiting, anticipating. And when it comes, they're going to say, wow. And then I'm going to say, if I made you wow, why can't you make your buyer and sellers wow? Yeah. Wow. That's awesome, Jay. Don't wait until you make 8, 12, 40,000 on one sale. Wow them now. And I know he's on the call right now. I won't name his name because he's a great guy and he's a little somewhat shy right now, but he's doing that. And he's under 30 and he's looking to be top 30 under 30 in the country. And I think he's going to make it using SendOutCards.
That's so exciting. I would love to, I could spend another hour with you, but I want to go ahead and change tracks here a little bit. And I want to share basically what it takes to use SendOutCards. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to show the people that are on our call here. Bear with me. I'm going to show you what SendOutCards is and how you can use it. So I like to explain SendOutCards this way. There's really 3 parts to SendOutCards. You can use 1, you can use 2, you can use all 3. It's really up to you. But the first part of SendOutCards is a monthly subscription of $39 a month. And that gives you 100 points per month, and that allows you to send out 33 of these type of cards, a 2-panel card, because this is a 3-point card. So, 33 times 3 points, 99 points. So you can send out 33 of these a month. There's no contract. You can cancel at any time. We don't think that you will. That's why we don't have a contract, because if you use this correctly, you're not going to get rid of it because it's pretty money in your pocket. So we don't have a contract. And if you don't use all of your points, which as a realtor, I think you should use 100 points and more because it's going to pay you to do that, then those points roll over. So if I should only use 50 of my 100 points this month, next month I have 150 points there. So you don't lose the points if you don't use the points. So quite often people will save them up and kind of use them during the holidays. So that's the monthly subscription. It gives you basic storage, which is enough to have 1,500 contacts. It's enough to have 50 campaigns. Just a quick note on campaigns. So this card here was a campaign card. I created 1 card and I sent it out to 100 neighbors. I just hit click, I hit the send button, and 100 cards were printed at midnight that night and went out the next day, and the neighborhood of 100 people got it 3 or 4 days later. So that's 1 card going to many people. Or you can have many cards going to 1 person. So they get a birthday card, they get an anniversary card, a holiday card, a Valentine's Day card. And once you put someone into that campaign, you can forget about it. The only thing you really want to do is change your cards maybe every January so they don't get a duplicate card. But it's a way to have those touches, those personalized touches. We have a mail merge function, so that every card is individualized to that person from your contact database. So the card would go to Jay, it would go to Gary, it'd go to Brian without me having to do anything except put in the mail merge function. So that you were able to have 50 saved campaigns, basic storage, and you can save 500 pictures and 250 saved cards. So that's the basic subscription. Now, the second part is the bundles, and these just add features to the subscription. So I recommend for every realtor that they use the marketing bundle because that has every tool that SendOutCards has. So you get the custom brand manager. So that's the ability to brand the back of the card in any way that you want to set it up. And you can have a full picture, a half picture on the top or the bottom or side by side like I have on this one. And you can have as many brands as you need to handle the different functions that you want to use SendOutCards for. So that's the custom brand manager. On the marketing bundle, you get the SendOutCards memory vault, which is just more storage. It's enough for 2,500 contacts and 100 saved campaigns and so forth. So it's just more storage. So with the bundle, you're also going to get 200 bonus points in the marketing bundle. Now, the only caveat with these is that these points inside the bundle only last for 2 months. They don't roll over for 18 months like they do with the monthly subscription. And they're put in there really just for you to get comfortable using the system and get the word out. So just send out cards and gifts, and use those 200 points during your first 2 months. You're also going to get a handwriting and a signature system. So there's a form that you'll download that you fill out your handwriting, your ABCs, your 1, 2, 3s, your punctuation. And then at the bottom of that form, you have 4 different boxes that you can choose how you want to sign your card. So it might be your first name. It might be printed or cursive. It might be your legal name. You might have one for you and your spouse and your children when you send out a family card. And you choose when you're creating the card on your phone or your laptop how you want to have that card signed. So that's the handwriting and the signature package. The MRM training portal, in my mind, is worth $395 in and of itself. It's about 10 hours of online content on how to use SendOutCards to grow your business, whether that's real estate, a loan officer, car dealership, whatever it is. It's generic training on how to love on your network using a simple piece of paper with some ink on it. And that's pretty wild. There's a couple campaigns that are pretty much set up for you. The First Impressions Kit is a little bit of an upgraded card. It's a little bit thicker card stock. It's got a beautiful satin black or satin white finish that you can modify if you want to. So it's pretty much set up for you. You may want to go in and tweak a few things, put your picture on it. And there's also another campaign at the bottom here, the Startup Campaign Value Pack. Now, sometimes when I am showing this to someone, a realtor, they may not want to get started. They may want to try it out. So you might want to get started with the personal bundle, which gives you the custom brand manager. Again, that's the back of the card. It gives you the signature package, but not the handwriting. It gives you 100 bonus points and basic storage. And then once you start to like it and start to see some results, you can always upgrade to the marketing bundle just by paying the $200 difference. And then you get all the added features of the marketing bundle. The business bundle really is for, in real estate terms, it's if you have a real estate team. It gives you everything the marketing bundle has, but it also gives you multi-user accounts. So you can have your buyer's agent have a separate sub-account. You can have your inside sales agent or your customer service person have their own separate account so they don't have access to the big account. Other than that, it has everything that the marketing bundle has. So the first part is your subscription. The second part is a bundle. The third part, and this may be of interest to you, it may not. Not everyone wants to do this, but when I saw this, I knew that we were going to be the Netflix of the greeting card and gifting business, meaning that Netflix destroyed Blockbuster because it took something that was brick and mortar and took it online, made it more accessible, made it less expensive, easier to use. So when I saw SendOutCards and I saw that I could become a distributor, that I could actually, at a very minimum, pay for my marketing costs to go out and bring more clients in. But I saw this as really a game changer. So I started sharing this with other realtors. And lo and behold, I'm building a phenomenal residual income business that does not take away from my real estate at all. In fact, it actually enhances it. I have distributors all across the country, and some of them are realtors, some of them are loan officers, some of them are just regular Joes. And lo and behold, because I brought them into my network and I love on them, I'm getting business from my network in SendOutCards. So not only do I use SendOutCards to put money in my pocket in terms of real estate commissions, but I've created a separate revenue source that right now I tease people and I say, right now my SendOutCards pays the taxes on my real estate. 5 years from now, real estate's going to pay the taxes on my SendOutCards. And I love being a distributor. It's not for everyone. You want to do it consistently. If you're not going to share this consistently, just be a client. But if your wheels are spinning right now of people that you think could use this and that they should see this, you might want to consider being a distributor. So, Jay, do you have any thoughts on anything that I've shared with the 3 different parts of SendOutCards?
No, I think you did a great job. I know you did a great job of explaining it. You said it well in terms of you have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose when you see the success of what you've done in 4 years or what I've done in 27 years. And SendOutCards has been around for approximately 10, 11, 12 years. It's a no-brainer that people are on their phones. People are not getting love in the mailbox, and the gifts are phenomenal. So if you want to free up time as a professional and you want to stay in touch with your clients, you'd be a fool not to get on board with Gary and his team and not just test it out, but just use it. 12 months. Come back and tell us your success story. We'll be so impressed to hear it because you listened to Gary and myself tonight, and we just want to see success for everybody in our industry and people who took the time to be on this webinar call.
I really appreciate you spending some time with us. I'm going to go ahead and post my here on the chat. I'm going to go ahead and put in my website. So it is www.sendoutcards.com/go mobile. Go mobile. So if you have any questions, if you're seeing this, if a realtor has shared this video with you and you have some questions, get back together with them. If I've invited you to this webinar and you have some questions, go ahead and reach out to me. You can take a look at my website and send a card to someone for free. And I'd love to be able to show you the power of this system. And I know that if you use this consistently, it's going to really help your real estate business. So Jay, I really want to thank you so much. I've learned so much in this hour. And I know that the realtors that work with you are really blessed by your information and your passion on helping them. And I can't say how much I appreciate you being on this webinar with me.
Well, thank you very much. I look forward to watching your success even more, and reach out anytime I can help.
Thank you so much, Jay. You have a great night, and I look forward to seeing you here at the convention in April.
Sounds good. Me as well.
All right. You take care then. You have a great day.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye now.